Hey guys, so today we are going to do something that is going to be so much fun. I came up with a new game for us to play. The game is called What Would an Aquarius Do? And I've had some friends give me a few scenarios to put Aquarius in. So when we're done with this video, if you can think of any scenarios for the next one, after I get 5 or 6 or so, I'll do another video about it. I thought it was a fun game to do, okay? So first I'm gonna do the introduction and we're gonna get right to the game. I'm Queen Aset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to somebody else who might think it's fun too. And please stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to read out some comments from previous videos. So feel free to leave comments and hang around to check out my responses to comments. If you would like to get a reading done, please email me or hit me up on social media. If you would like to become one of my patrons on Patreon, all of that information is going to be underneath this video. If you want to get some Ask an Aquarius or some ArchAngel Michael merchandise, that's going to be underneath this video too. So let's get right into our game, okay? And don't forget, as you're listening, be thinking of some submissions that you can make for our next game. Okay, so what would an Aquarius do? Question 1. What would an Aquarius do if their secret crush walked into the room? Now, I have not read these already in advance because I want to answer them cold. So I'm not going to read them. I'm just going to look at the first part, see if it's appropriate, and smack it in. So what would an Aquarius do if their secret crush walked into the room? Well, first of all, I'm going to answer for myself as an Aquarius, and many Aquarius might agree with me. But if you're out there and you're an Aquarius and you have a different answer, drop that in the comments section too. So if I was somewhere and my secret crush walked into the room, I would be freaking out. Okay? If I was somewhere and Oprah, well, she's not a secret crush, but she a crush. If Oprah walked into the room on the inside, I would be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I would be tripping on the inside, okay? Yeah. However, because I am Aquarius, I would not show it. I would not show it. You are not going to see me off my square. So I might be tripping on the inside, but on the outside, I would try to compose myself. Hello, Miss Winfrey. Nice to meet you. I would try to be very composed, very polite, very kind, and I would try for her not to notice that I'm tripping, that I am like starstruck, you know? And it doesn't matter who the crush is. This is pretty much how I would respond to it. I would try to stay composed, you know, and polite and friendly and kind. And I would also try, if at all possible, to get my crush to have coffee with me or have a follow-up conversation in some kind of sneaky way that I would do, you know what I mean, under the guise of business or under the guise of something like that, you know. I wouldn't come out and freak out, and I wouldn't come out and hit on my crush either. I would be very back with that energy because I already know myself. I have crushes all the time that don't last throughout the day. Okay? I can have a crush now at 12, 16 and be like, nah, by 1 o'clock. Okay? So I don't want to trip. I want to take things slow. So a lot of Aquarius may agree with me. Please let me know if you would do something else. Question number 2. What would an Aquarius do if their coworker slapped them at work? Oh my. Oh my. See, as an Aquarius, as a person, I have this code, okay? And my code goes like this. as long as you don't touch me, I will pretty much ignore whatever you're doing. You can cuss at me, yell at me, fuss at me. As long as you don't physically hit my person with your person or with an object, everything is fine. I'm probably going to just walk away because I'm a kind of person, I know my temper, and if I let my dragon out, it's going to air this place out. Okay? So I can't let the dragon embarrass me. So 9 times out of 10, if it's just talking, they always say sticks and stones can break my bones, but names will never hurt me. If it's just talking, I will ignore it. But if my coworker slapped me or kicked me or threw something at me, I can't hold the dragon back. I'm probably going to get arrested that day, seriously, because that's where I draw the line. Okay? Touching my person, that's where I draw the line. So 9 times out of 10, I would probably grip them up because that's my signature move. I've been doing that since I was 11. I would grip them up and we would both be going to jail. 9 times out of 10. I would try to walk away. I would probably try. I would tell myself it's not worth catching the case. You need to walk away. But in that instance, I really don't think I would be able to calm myself down. They slapped me, I would probably grab the person by their throat. And I wouldn't care if it was a man or a woman. I wouldn't care if I was going to win or lose. I would, in that moment, snap. That would definitely be a fight. I hope it's some other Aquarius out there that have more self-control. But for me, yeah, that's the day me and that coworker getting arrested. Definitely. If they just talking smack, that's nothing. What would an Aquarius do if their BFF, their best friend, slept with their significant other? Wow, your best friend and your significant other? I would kick them both to the curb. I wouldn't fight. Like some people would beat her up or beat him up or want to fight. I wouldn't fight at all. I would kick them both to the curb. As soon as I found out, they would never see me again. I wouldn't go through a lot of back and forths and shenanigans and crying and all that kind of stuff. I would just be like, okay, y'all can have each other. And I probably would be devastated because, mind you, this is my best friend and my significant other. So 2 people who are at that point would be major people in my support system. You know, that would be devastating. But I would just be like, it is what it is. You know, to me, if somebody does something like that, that says more about them than you. So I would just let them have at each other. And I wouldn't fuck with either one of them ever again. Because that person, that best friend, is not a friend. And that significant other is a snake. That significant other does not care about me at all. If they were asleep with my friend, they don't care about me at all. Because there's plenty of people in the world to sleep with. Why that person? That to me is personal. Like that was like a resentment move on the part of one or both of them. But either way, they're both guilty, so they never gonna see me again. I'm done. Some games I just don't play, and that's a game I would not play. What would an Aquarius do if they found out they were secretly adopted at birth? Wow. And you know what's crazy about this one? I used to always think this. When I was a little kid, I don't look a lot like my mother. I look like my father. And me and my mother have always had a lot of friction. So I had this, belief, fantasy, something going on as a young girl that I was secretly adopted. That my father had me with some woman who was messed up and couldn't take care of me. And he gave me, he got with my mother, or he had an affair, because my parents were married. So I always thought, I didn't have it all thought out, but basically he stepped out, had a kid, me, and came back to his marriage. The other woman couldn't take care of me. Maybe he was an addict or was just out of the picture. Maybe she passed over. And he gave me to the woman who was my actual mother. So if I found that I was secretly adopted, I'll be like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew something was going on, you know? That would be me. But I think the typical Aquarius, if they found out they were secretly adopted, I think a lot of us would be probably processing, analyzing, trying to see, could we tell? Was there any signs? Do I look like these people? Like we would be analyzing, our gears would start going. And if the people had been good to us, we probably would just keep on loving them. And we might be very curious though. Aquarius is a very curious sign. We might be very curious about what happened to our birth family and why. We probably would want to know that. Some of us would try to find out. We would try to be a detective and try to find out, you know, but we would still love our birth family. And I also think we would be kind of irritated. Many of us would be kind of irritated that they didn't tell us. Like, why didn't you tell me, you know? But in most cases, if they had been good to us, we probably would be able to come through it pretty much well adjusted. If they were a negative adopted family, then we would be trying to find our birth family to replace. Because, you know, Aquarius cut you off. We probably be trying to cut them off and go to, like, what happened? Why did y'all give me up, you know? And if it wasn't a reason that was too negative, the Aquarius, if that family we had been adopted into was awful, we would be trying to reconnect with those people from, you know, our birth family. So it really depends on the circumstances that around the adoption situation. But for me personally, I'd be like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew I didn't look like that lady. But the truth is, I do. I didn't notice it till I got older. But if you look at us from the back, we look very similar. It's just from the front that we look extremely different. So I noticed that when I was like 35. It took a long time for me to notice that. And the last one here is pretty good. It says, what would an Aquarius do in an end of the world situation? All right, so I've been watching Loki because I love Loki. And I'm not going to give you guys any spoilers, but one of the things that happens in the show is they show several different end of the world situations. So I've been thinking about this as I've been actually watching Loki. So if it was the end of the world, an Aquarius is going to try to survive. That's going to be our main thing, trying to survive as long as we possibly can. Like some people said they would off themselves. Some people said that they would do, you know, all kinds of different things. If you watch that movie Bird Box, different people, you know, made different, you know, decisions. When we're in an end of the world or end of our life situation, different people make different, you know, decisions. And you really can't say what you would do until you're in the situation. But most Aquarius would try to survive. Aquarius are survivors. And most of us would try to survive. We would try to use this logic and we would try to analyze things. We would figure things out. We would figure out how to grow food. We would figure out how to, you know, set up some kind of makeshift system to, like, you know, keep away predators. We probably would have some dogs trained. You know, we would use our mind. We would use logic. We would, you know, use different things to make different things. If electricity and water, you know, weren't coming anymore, we would find a way. We would find a way to, you know, help our basic needs. We find a way to eat. You know, we would figure things out. The Aquarius are, you know, we're good with that. So most of us would try to figure out how to survive as long as possible. And then when it was over, it would just be over. But we would try to be one of the last ones standing in most cases. Okay? So if you have any what would an Aquarius do questions, please drop them in the comment section. Okay? And I'll collect them and I'll use them for the next video. All right, guys, now I'm going to tell you some positive comments and I'm going to respond to them. The first one came from Eric Gray. Hey, Eric. Eric said, weight training brings me peace in my life. Love you, Queen. I asked the other day, what brings peace to your spirit? because all of us is different. For me, it's meditation. Oh my goodness, that's my favorite one. But also, music brings peace to my spirit. Being out in the nature brings peace to my spirit. I used to love to go to the creek and to the water, to the beach. That brings a lot of peace to me. So it's a number of things. But Eric is saying for him is weight training. So that's a good one. Exercise does bring peace to a lot of people. Love you too, Eric. The next one is Asia Flinner. Asia, I hope I said your name right. Let's see. What brings me peace is no petty drama. I hear that. I hear that. When your life is calm and nobody's bugging you and everything is just, I was thinking about this the other day, because this is how my life is, and I was thinking like, wow, nobody's bugging me. Nobody's bugged me for a long time too, you know, and I was just sitting there like, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So you're 100% correct. Not having pettiness and negativity and gossip and drama and, you know, people with their jealousies and all that crap, you know, just having positive energy around, and or no energy around, just your own peaceful energy around, you know, or being around just people that you love. So yeah, I agree 100%. All right, guys, time for me to get going. See you next time.